Cup of close calls, the deflected goal that cost them the game against Colombia. The Super Eagles, their electric skills just misfiring, but there is still the promise of excitement. Mexico has similar flair, and today the virtual home field as these clubs close out U.S. Cup 95. On ESPN today from the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. It is Mexico and Nigeria. And welcome to the Cotton Bowl along with Ty Keogh. I'm Bob Lee. Mexico began U.S. Cup 95, hoping to cement its place as the leading power in the region. Now Mexico playing for redemption. And Nigeria today, Ty, playing to recapture some of the flair with which they began this cup.
Nigeria were a very fun team to watch during the World Cup, and they started off well against the United States, taking 2 early leads. In fact, they got a couple of breaks here in the early going with some deflections going their way. It goes down the right side. It gets deflected here right into the run of J.J. Okocha, and he just rips this ball into the net. And that was well on their way to a victory, so it seemed, but they ended up losing to the United States by a score of 3-2. But for Mexico, bad luck all the way around. They were losing 1-0 at this time, and Casey Keller was able to then keep the score at 1-0, and then Zage with a shot here cleared off the line by Thomas Dooley.
As we said, it's virtually a home field today for the Mexicans, and down on that field on a warm day in Dallas is Bill McDermott. Bill?
Thank you, Bob. You know, the calendar says that summer just arrived this past Wednesday. Well, it got here in a quick vengeance in Dallas. It's hot, muggy, hazy, with temperatures hovering around the century mark all day long. Now, that's the weather report. How about the surface of the field? It's an absolutely impeccable condition, measuring 112 by 70 in the same great condition we saw it for last year's World Cup. That's Mexico versus Nigeria, 2 teams struggling for some small sense of redemption in this year's U.S. Cup competition. Back to Bob.
All right, Bill, a warm day, a day with these teams with things to prove, and we'll get underway in just a moment with the starting lineups. Mexican fans here by the thousands at the Cotton Bowl to root on their national side in U.S. Cup 95.
Salt Creek Golf Club.
For the Mexicans today, as we said, virtually a home field, and today in front of thousands of their fans. Let's take a look at the starting lineup that they will put on the field following Wednesday's draw with Colombia.
Campos, number 9 in goal, as always, will entertain, but a critical element here for Mexico, their 2 central defenders, Ramirez Perales, the number 3, and Suarez, the number 2, together again for the first time during U.S. Cup because of injury problems. Hermosillo, the leading goal scorer in the Mexican League the last 2 years in a row, the number 7 up top, and Zage showed us a little bit in that second half the other night against Colombia. He was ready to play.
And Zage gets the start today on a warm morning start. 11 a.m. local time, just after 11, and Zage with those 7 goals against Martinique with the international record, and he made things happen. The Nigerian lineup, which was declared just about 30 minutes prior to kickoff, they were late to arrive, but this is the field that they will put out on the pitch today.
Soronmo in goal, a very experienced back line, including Aroja, who will go forward down the left side. In the midfield, Akpaburi, the number 11, he is the workhorse. He gets up and down all over the place. Siasia, number 18 at forward for the Nigerians, is their most dangerous individual attacker.
Jorge Campos, who was on form at RFK Stadium on Wednesday against Colombia, peppered by the United States. Of course, heading to the Major League Soccer next season with a $2 million transfer fee, of which he may have kept about $1 million if the usual Mexican League form holds on how much you keep based on the time with the Unam Pumas that he has. Ike Soronmu gets the start today for Nigeria. Peter Rufai was injured in the match against Colombia, injured his shoulder, and so Soronmu from Shooting Stars in Nigeria at age 22 will pick up an international cap today and gets his first start. The Nigerian defense anchored by that man, Chidi Nwanu. A veteran of World Cup 94, plays for Anderlecht, the Belgian champions. Marked Alan Shearer, little man marking when the Nigerians played at Wembley late last season. So this is a world-class player, and he will be the man in the middle, attempting to shut down the Mexican attack, which was stymied by Colombia and Rene Higuita the other evening in Washington, D.C. Some point of contention going on between game organizers and the Nigerians. Nigerians, as we mentioned, were late to arrive. There is something under discussion. The Nigerians yesterday for their practice arrived and neglected to bring soccer balls, and so went through a very light workout without any contact with the ball. They didn't bring any.
They should be fresh and well stretched out, ready to play. Also, the heat that Bill McDermott spoke about already is definitely going to be an advantage for the Nigerians. They're more used to these conditions.
Bill McDermott, what's going on down there?
A discussion, Bob, between the Nigerian officials. They're saying the crowd is too loud. We can't hear our national anthem. Consequently, we're not going to play. So they're attempting to work that out right now as we speak. Back up to you, Bob.
All right, national pride always a matter of contention. The Nigerians are a very proud group of players and professionals. That's the Mexican selection posing for the traditional pre-match picture.
I'm going to be slightly cynical here. As proud as they might be of their country, there's an element of gamesmanship to delaying the start of a game. They can try and unbalance their opposition and so forth, and maybe, I don't know, all they're trying to do perhaps is incense the crowd. That may backfire on them.
And it's a very good turnout today in Dallas. This was a venue for World Cup '94 last year. 6 matches were played here. They averaged over 58,000 in attendance for those matches, including that Brazil-Holland match last year on this pitch, which was arguably the most entertaining match of the World Cup. One of our game officials, and Arturo Angeles, the gentleman on the left, in discussion. Carlos Alberto was in the middle of that discussion as well. That gentleman with Nigeria on the back of the white t-shirt, Carlos Alberto, the technical advisor to the Nigerian side. He is on a 4-year contract. Shaibu Amadou, the new coach, on a 2-year contract. It is a very political situation, Nigerian football.
And this Carlos Alberto, not to be confused with the Brazilian coach who led Brazil to the most recent World Cup championship. The Carlos Alberto here is Carlos Alberto Torres, who wore the armband for Brazil in the 1970 World Cup when they were world champions.
So a bit of a delay here at the beginning of Nigeria and Mexico, and Carlos Alberto, who has hoisted the World Cup trophy, was not at practice yesterday. Observing, getting ready for the African Nations Cup, where Nigeria has been in the last 3 finals, winning one of those 3. I'm wondering if they will play the Nigerian anthem again. So in deference to the visitors from Nigeria, they will replay the Nigerian national anthem in front of a raucous crowd of largely Mexican fans there at the Cotton Bowl. I've never seen anything quite like this, but nothing really can surprise you because of, as you said, the gamesmanship and the pride that is at stake. And there is a lot of Nigerian pride at stake coming in without a victory so far in this U.S. Cup.
Pride as well. Last summer's World Cup, Nigeria finished 9th in the overall standings. In those results, Mexico finished 13th. So these teams both had good World Cup performances, and they're trying to keep it up to that standard.
And while they replay the Nigerian anthem, the Mexican fans are doing the wave. So the intersection of politics and soccer on a warm late morning in Dallas, Texas, just after 11 o'clock local time. And those sombreros are not so much decorative as functional. As the replay of the Nigerian anthem continues. And we understand now what happened earlier is that they played the Star-Spangled Banner by mistake, which was impossible for us to hear because of the Mexican fans in place of the Nigerian anthem, in which case, if I were Nigeria, I would want to hear my anthem. So Arturo Angeles attempting to pour some oil on the troubled waters of Nigerian pride at this moment. And we are several minutes late in kicking off this match. Beautiful pitch. And now Nigeria will pose for its traditional pre-match picture. Soronu, the goalie, upper left, getting the start. Keep your eye on the 18 players. Siasia, Denegwe, the number 17 player. And Ndukwe, number 12, in the blue, or I should say the green and white stripes. Players to keep an eye on. Siasia, a veteran last year. of World Cup '94.
Nigeria missing, of course, some of their name players. Amuniki, everyone remembers him from the World Cup, scoring some important goals. He was the African Player of the Year for '94. Amokachi, who played at Everton, winning an FA Cup with them, not here. Recently married. Rashidi Yekini, injured, not available here. And of course, Finidi George from Ajax and Canoe, not available after their long and very successful season for the Dutch team Ajax, having won the Champions Cup.
Pre-game moment of prayer and concentration for the Nigerian side. They'll be taking aim on the fluorescent one, Jorge Campos, leaving Unam Pumas for the Major League Soccer of next season. Started the season as a field player for Unam, scored 5 goals, and then went on to go back into the nets. Upcoming Copa America for Mexico, and they will be playing Paraguay, Venezuela, and arguably about the toughest thing you could ask for in a tournament like that, the host nation Uruguay in Uruguay. So that's a tough schedule for Mexico, using U.S. Cup as a preparation and looking at that schedule down the road.
Also remember that the last Copa America in '93, Mexico made it all the way to the final, losing only to Argentina. So they could be one of the favorites, but their form in this tournament so far does not indicate that.
We at ESPN want to thank MasterCard and Budweiser for allowing us to bring you today's game commercial-free. Mexico in white, Nigeria in the white and green stripes at the Cotton Bowl. A raucous pro-Mexican crowd on hand, and this segment of the game is presented commercial-free by MasterCard. Saronmu, the Nigerian keeper, plays domestically for Julius Berger. Delomo challenging for Mexico. And Suarez comes back. Claudio Suarez is playing for Mexico, and that was a bit of a question mark. He had a long conversation yesterday with Miguel Mejia Barón at training, and then he went out and played as if that knee is not bothering him in central defense.
They're still wondering whether he needs a surgery or whether he can hold off until after Copa America. But remember, Suarez did not start against the USA, part of the reason that they gave up 4 goals.
Aroha with a throw, loose at the 8th, the header attempt and a whistle.
Foul going out.
Number 4 on Breeze, and that ball did not leave the penalty area, so they'll retake the goal kick.
Breeze, number 4 for Mexico, wearing the armband today. Also coming back into the Mexico lineup, Ramirez Perales, he's on the ball there. He plays next to Suarez. Yesterday in practice, both the central defenders for Mexico were wearing knee supports, knee bandages, so today they don't have them, so maybe it's a good sign for Mexico's defense that these guys are finally healthy.
Delomo, number 4 on Breeze, as Mexico. Everyone getting a touch, the game taking shape in the first early moments. Along with Bill McDermott and Ty Keogh, I'm Bob Lee, U.S. Cup 95 from Dallas. That ball won at the midfield, but Bernal comes back. And Ndukwe fighting off and controlling that ball, and Ndukwe with a lead. Sia. Far post headed out. Delomo with a nice play. Joaquin Delomo.
Delomo very well placed defensively there to clear the ball. Delomo plays for Club America, as do 3 other players on the Mexican roster.
Bernal fights and lifts it up the wing very deftly. Nwanu has to chase an errant ball with Zage all over him on his trademark left side of the field for the Mexican attack. Nwanu squares it off. 3rd minute. Nigeria and Mexico. The Mexicans in the white uniforms, if you've just joined us.
Nigeria here very patient in building up their attack and their possession. Perhaps the influence of Carlos Alberto, the Brazilian style of slowing the game down and working the ball around the back 4 and using the width of the field.
Iroha ahead. And a push against Nigeria. Faludu at Danny Faludu, number 15. Iroha intercepted that ball. Now Nigeria back on it. They've had the better of possession so far and the best offensive opportunity. Now Mexico at the midfield. Ambriz, number 4.
Good tackle by Suarez a moment ago. He adds so much to this team.
Delomo comes inside now. Gets away from an attempted tackle. There is Garcia Aspe on the wing, sending it in. Ansoronu, header in. Hermosillo's ball knocked out. Zage settles in the box.
Hermosillo very powerful in the air there. He's a target for those high balls into the box. He's at over 6'3". Zage, who will be coming in from the left side, is about 6'5". So Mexico does have the option of playing those high balls driven across the face of the penalty area.
Mexico looking for at least a goal here in U.S. Cup 95. Losing last Sunday to the U.S. 4-0 in the scoreless draw with Colombia. Akpobore, number 11, Jonathan Akpobore tries to cut that ball in and does over the head of Campos, and the cross sails far wide. Ndukwe against Bernal and put out. Jorge Rodriguez put that ball out.
Number 12, Chukwu Ndukwe, is the leading scorer in the Nigerian league. So very dangerous with his back to the goal. Very powerful in his dribbling and one-on-one capabilities.
He came on as a substitute against the United States in the U.S. victory. Flicked on at the 6 and put over the top. Campos did not have to touch it. Dangerous opportunity for the Super Eagles with Akpobore on the far post.
That is the second time that the ball has made it all the way to the back post past Campos, getting him out of position. And this one, had that gone closer to that post that Akpobore is sitting right in front of, I don't believe Campos would have had a chance for it. But a very dangerous restart off the long throw. It's then flicked on beautifully in behind the Mexican defense. Campos reacts, but had it been lower or closer to that corner, I don't believe he could have gotten there.
Just a taste of the quick strike Nigerian offense. The U.S. learned about it firsthand at Foxborough several weeks ago. Ramirez moves up. With Rodriguez to his right, Ramirez into the box. Headed up by Nwanu, chasing Hermosillo. Garcia Aspe lays it off to Ambriz.
He'll shoot in that range.
Bernal with a mortar, it's deflected wide. And Bernal can score from that distance.
Both Ambriz and Bernal, the number 4 and number 6 for Mexico, fine long-range shooters, very powerful shooters. And Ambriz has the ball, and he lays it off to Bernal instead. And there's a deflection, a very dangerous one there. Sent a spin onto the ball, and it results in a corner kick. But just before the start of that attack, Ramon Ramirez, the number 5 for Mexico, some top-class dribbling to penetrate the Nigerian defense, and he should have taken a shot. He tried to work a very fine pass almost into no space, and if he breaks through and he's only 15, 16 yards out, Ramon Ramirez should take his chances.
Joaquin Delomo with the corner. Flick on by Garcia Aspe, put over the top, and Bernal couldn't save it. Nice flick on by Garcia Aspe, and another corner kick. Lots of action in the first 7 minutes.
Both teams very effectively using flick-on headers. Before it was the throw-in for Nigeria. This time Mexico, I believe it was Zage, was able to flick it. No, it was not Zage, but it was flicked to the back post. Remember, Hermosillo and Zage, well over 6 foot, both targets for these set pieces for Mexico.
Jesus Ramon Ramirez. And there is the head coach, Miguel Mejia Barón, who is under a lot, and we mean a lot of pressure, doing some spin control yesterday at practice with the Mexican media, trying to portray this as a warm-up for Copa America. Well, after the loss in the draw, that might be the best position to take. Nigeria on the attack. Akpobore put out by Ramirez Perales. And a throw in for the Super Eagles. Ramirez Perales puts it back out. And a Mexican throw in by Delomo. In a scoreless match, both teams very good opportunities early on. Hermosillo lays it off. Ambriz tackled away. The luck of the draw last year in the World Cup did not bring Mexico to Dallas. A lot of disappointed Mexican fans in this portion of the country in northern Mexico wanted to see their team.
Not only that, they were drawn into the group of death with Italy, Norway, and Ireland, and they ended up winning the group of death, in part because of the goal scored by Marcelino Bernal, the number 6 today, against Italy. So he scored a very big goal.
A taste there of the Nigerian touch, and they will have a restart about 40 yards out. Faludu taken off by Ramirez. Perales, and the number 3 player tackled back in kind and fouled. Jorge Rodriguez, number 20, plays for the club Toluca. Ramirez puts it right back into play, and now a whistle and a Nigeria restart. Bill McDermott's on the field. Bill?
Carlos Alberto, who's the advisor for the Nigerian side. Carlos, despite the absence of all the stars, you still see a lot of young talent on this team.
Yeah, we have here a lot of good young players. Yeah, unfortunately, the main players, or this means the World Cup players, didn't come. But we're going to have a chance to see a good game because we have nothing to lose, like the Mexicans.
A lot of pressure from number 5, Ramirez, here at the right width. He can cause some problems for you.
Okay, but we know the Mexican players, and we're going to pay attention with all of them.
Thank you, Carlos. Bob Lee, back upstairs to you.
All right, Carlos Alberto, technical advisor, and the Mexicans on the move in a scoreless match. Garcia Aspe, number 8, circling, waiting for some support. Hermosillo, the leading domestic scorer for Mexico. Ambriz, number 4. Put away from Suarez. Mexico taking their time. Now Rodriguez with a little opportunity in time, slips it, looking for Hermosillo behind him.
There's been a change in tactics for Mexico. We talked about the danger of Ramon Ramirez coming forward.
Loose inside the box, offside. Sloppiness on the back line for Nigeria, but the Mexicans were offside.
Earlier in this U.S. Cup tournament, Ramon Ramirez was used as a defender who was expected to attack from the back line. Here, this is the offside here when it's played forward by Zage into Hermosillo. He's clearly offside. But Ramon Ramirez today playing as an attacking midfielder. He has Rodriguez in behind him playing the defensive role. He doesn't have to deal with the defensive responsibilities.
Sloppy crossfield pass and on the move. Akabori's ball knocked down. And now Mexico back in possession. Participating in today's commercial-free presentation is Major League Soccer. Lead for Zage. He'll circle now. Luis Roberto Alves lays it off for that umpire. Garcia Aspe over the top. End to end we go.
We saw Zage's speed there as he can break through, and then we also saw that lethal left foot of Garcia Aspe. He miscued on it slightly, but the ball pulled back by Zage, and look at the power on this shot, but it continues to rise.
Zage thought about going in one-on-one, saw Garcia Aspe in support about 15 yards away, circled and waited.
Both left footers are thinking the same thing, to penetrate and then get that shot off.
Ramirez is playing that ball. In the 13th minute in Dallas. Suarez looks for it, but Mexico, they'll have a free kick off the Nigerian foul. No doubt where the sentiments are today in Dallas. Suarez has to circle. Nigeria on the move. Siasia, Samson Siasia lays it off Akpabari. Just wide of the far post.
Both teams looking very dangerous on counterattacks, exploiting their speed in attack. And that time was Siasia's run. He nearly set up Okpabari. This is Siasia accelerating and playing a ball into the Mexican penalty area, striking it first time. Okpabari putting it just wide as he did have Campos beaten.
This group of Nigerian players now their third match together. Without, as Carlos Alberto mentioned, many of the World Cup stalwarts of last year, but we're beginning really to see the understanding between them. And now this third match of U.S. Cup 95, and this has been entertaining so far. Ramirez now moves in with a nice move. Ramirez. Laid back to Bernal, looking to tee it up. Bernal slips it. Ambriz tees it up. Where will he go? Ramirez onside. 2 men in the box. Looking for Zage. Knotted down by the defense and cleared. Also participating in bringing you today's game is Nike. Rodriguez for Bernal. Pressure at both ends. Quick strikes from Nigeria. Sustained pressure from Mexico. Akbabori comes back to win that ball. Sent back by Ramirez Perales, and now another quick counter strike by Nigeria. Faludu. Knotted away by Rodriguez. Faludu challenging, and Mexico has it back.
Beautiful dribbling attack there by Faludu on the right side. Going at full speed, he was able to double touch the ball to eliminate the Mexican defender.
Garcia Aspe shielded off the ball. We play on. Entertaining soccer. Siasia. And the corner kick.
Ramirez Perales, the number 3 for Mexico, defending well, but he's having problems keeping up with the speed of the Nigerian attack. This is Siasia, their number 18. He's their captain for today. A big honor for him, but we've seen already how quick he is on the dribble, how he can go straight at the Mexican defense, and most of the danger chance for Nigeria will come from him.
Down the wing, Mexico. Garcia Aspe is deflected out. Defensive play by Babalati. Jabati Babalati coming over to challenge. We are live at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. He took a cleat to the face, did Babalati.
Babalati is down here. He's chasing Garcia Aspe. Aspe goes to either shoot this ball or drive it across. He slides, and on the follow-through, Garcia Aspe catches the face of Babalati. So he took the cleats across the side of the face.
U.S. Cup 95 on ESPN, along with Bill McDermott and Ty Keogh. I'm Bob Lee as we attend to Jabati Babalati in the Nigerian penalty area.
So it went from corner kick at one end to corner kick at the other end in a matter of about 5 seconds, and that has been the nature of this game. And they're showing us some very entertaining attacking soccer for once, because both of these teams have been disappointing in this U.S. Cup tournament. Mexico yet to score a goal. Nigeria yet to come up with a point in 2 games.
Joaquin Duloma will take the corner kick. Serrano sets his defense. Garcia Aspe looked for the flick on, but it was headed out by Nigeria. That was header by Okpara. But you're really seeing now the understanding with this group of Nigerian players in their third match. They came against the U.S., and there was really very little in the way of teamwork.
Well, the team was thrown together at the very last minute. In fact, they weren't sure whether some of the name players were going to be able to make it.
Campos was up near the halfway line.
That's a very normal occurrence.
He's 15 yards out of his box. He's a center forward at heart. How many goalkeepers wear the number 9? He does. That's a little window onto his soul, I think. Zage on his off wing. Ambriz. Ramirez Perales, number 3 at central defense, looking for Hermosillo. Looking to turn that ball. He's got Zage coming down the middle. And Garcia Aspe making a run, headed away from Zage. Settled by Ambriz. There is Rodriguez. Jorge Rodriguez, number 20. He's got Ramon Ramirez on the wing. Rodriguez makes a run in support. Ramirez with a shot saved by Serrano.
And that's what Ramirez should have done earlier. He made a very similar move, but he was 10 yards closer in, and he did not take the shot before. And this time, he was well outside his normal range and tried it anyway, perhaps thinking of that previous one, but he did not take.
27 minutes till halftime. Ambriz lays it back. Suarez. Boy, Nigeria, if you make a mistake in the midfield, especially today, and Mexico has made a number of them, you will pay for it immediately.
Very keen to go forward instantaneously into the counterattack. And that has always been the Nigerian style. They love to attack the very good one-on-one players. They will go directly at the defenders.
Ramon Ramirez walks it up slowly again. Scott Bernal behind him. Intercepted by Nwanu, and he plays it wide for Nigeria. Zage working against Babalati. Get away from me, says Alves. Luis Roberto Alves. Hermosillo tackled from behind. Intercepted. Enegwe at midfield, bothered by Rodriguez amongst 3 Mexican defenders. Some nice work.
Some neat work in a very tight space there to keep possession.
Now Ciacia down the left side. Suarez tackles it away. Replay on. Rodriguez chested away. Nice back heel. Rodriguez comes through to win the ball. A lot of deft touching, but not much in the way of combinations in the last minute. Scoreless match. 25 minutes till halftime. On a warm morning in Dallas. Still before noon local time. Zage taken down. Babalati, a little confrontation. Nigeria 5 fouls, Mexico 2 so far. 7 fouls whistled. 21st minute. Ramirez, Marcelino Bernal, Ignacio Ambriz. This is Delomo, and he'll take the shot right on to Serrano. Dipping shot.
Dipping shot reminded me of the one that John Harkes scored against the Nigerian goalkeeper Peter Rufai at the start of this U.S. Cup. But the wet conditions not here to help it skip, nor did it dip soon enough.
Peter Rufai was not even at training yesterday, injured.
Here's a chance by Delomo. Look at the ball swerve down, take off, and start to dip. But Serrano covered it well, good positioning, and took it in.
Iroha. Well, the Extreme Games getting underway tomorrow on ESPN and the Deuce. 27 events, 9 categories: sports biking, bungee jumping, the Echo Challenge, the Extreme Games on ESPN and ESPN2. Also your home for U.S. Cup 95. Jorge Rodriguez with the throw-in. Bernal intercepted by Nigeria, and Suarez has to go through to win that ball, and Nigeria ready to pounce, as we said, on any mistake, any miscue.
Suarez and Ramirez Perales, a very settling effect on this Mexican team in terms of their backfield. But Suarez, number 2, and Campos, the goalkeeper for Mexico, teammates of Mike Sorber, the U.S. national team midfielder with UNAM, the Pumas of Mexico City.
Bill McDermott's on that field. Bill.
Yeah, Coach Brown was talking to Jorge Campos when he came over to the sideline just moments ago. He wants them to look to the width as soon as possible in an attempt to find Ramon Ramirez, whereupon which he will try to find Hermosillo or Zage in the center of the field. But Ramon Ramirez doing a lot of damage here at the right wing level. Back up to Bob Lee.
Garcia Espe, look at that cross on the full stride, and it was offside. Or out, actually. It swerved out. But what an effort. That ball was heading out, and he almost was able to put it on the post.
Bill McDermott makes a very good point. Ramon Ramirez on this near side has practically been pasted against the sideline, trying to use that full width to get the ball and run at the Nigerian defense. On the other side, we've seen Del Olmo and Garcia Aspe take up that same role interchangeably. We've also seen Hermosillo and Zage crisscross a few times as well to try and mix up this Nigerian defense.
Lead for Hermosillo and Zage, but intercepted by Babalade. 24th minute in Dallas. End to end. Lead in the box. Rodriguez back defensively, and Campos is there to collect.
So far, we've seen the Nigerians nearly break through on their quick counterattack. They're difficult to catch. They really break into space.
Akpabori, you had a good look at the man who's so dangerous, so fast down the right side. Plays professionally in Germany. Joaquin Delomo plays for Club America. Came over from Veracruz in a $1 million transfer. Played 3 games last year in World Cup '94. Zage down outside the area. Taken down by the waist.
Why is that not a yellow card? What's the difference between that and shirt pulling?
It was so obvious. And it was embellished, of course, like any good striker will embellish by Zage, but just outside the immediate restart. Deflected, saved by Sorunu. The rebound is pushed wide with Hermosillo lurking in front.
Outstanding reaction by Sorunu there as the ball deflected just before it got to him. He was able to still reach back. So showing well here, the young goalkeeper who's been waiting for a chance to play in front of Peter Rufai. This is the close-up of him. He's down low. He's set. Now the ball changes directions on that deflection. Nearly got under him, but he was able, through his agility, flexibility, still get his hand to it.
On breeze now with Delomo behind him. Delomo runs on for the shot that is out for the throw-in. 2 saves for Sorunu so far. Came on for Peter Rufai against Colombia, that match at Rutgers last weekend, and played rather well. Rufai injured his shoulder in the first half of that match, and Peter did not even train yesterday. Lazy ball nearly intercepted by Ramirez, and now a slide tackle by Rodriguez. Ramirez back on it and put out for the throw-in. Jesus Ramon Ramirez. Club Guadalajara. Bernal now. And Wanu nods it out. Delomo runs on. Nigeria looking for their patented quick strike counterattack. Siasia will have a throw-in.
Guadalajara was the leading team in the league in Mexico all season long, but then Necaxa came on and won the playoff setup.
The great final.
Nacho Ambriz and Garcia Aspe playing for that Necaxa playoff champion team.
Bill McDermott.
Siasia is talking about the fact that, hey, I'm getting tired of being hammered by Suarez and Ramirez Perales in the back here. Please play the ball to me at my feet. And if he's on my back, please let me know. But at least give it to me on that protected side. I'm tired of taking a hammering from these 2 enormous center backs from Mexico. Bob?
Thanks, Bill. Siasia plays for Nantes in France. A nearly undefeated season this year for the French champion. Ramirez walks it in, still on the ball, and now
ran out of options.
Yes. It's a foot race as Akpabari was put down at the halfway line, and here comes our first card. Ramirez Perales draws the card in the 27th minute.
Ramirez Perales under contract to Monterrey in the Mexico First Division. Remember, Mexico is a very high-paying league, although I'm sure the economic problems as of late may start to affect that. But a lot of money goes into Mexican soccer. Yellow card here for Ramirez Perales. No intent to play the ball. Pulls down the Nigerian attacker. That ball was well in the distance. Perales decided to play the man. He comes up with the yellow card in the 27th minute.
Bernal biding his time. 17 and a half minutes till halftime. At halftime, we'll look back at World Cup '94 and visit with Daley Thompson, 2-time Olympic decathlete champion, who's playing on the reserve team in the Premier League in England for Wimbledon. Ambriz, good anticipation and a good ball past Hermosillo. Zage's got it. Zage fending off, and now
Zage shielding beautifully.
Why didn't they just play
to
on,
hold
though?
possession?
He had the ball.
Got hit pretty hard on the second one. didn't really have any passes open to him.
Garcia Aspe looking for Zage. Oh, it skipped past him. It is a pool table surface, but that ball just behind Zage. And look at Zage's attempt. And now the flick on. There's Suarez. Free kick for Nigeria. One card so far. That against Mexico. Okafor. There's Benaroja. The left back. Watched by Ramirez. Iroha to the inside. Makarov trying to run on. Chip on. And Campos is out with the offside flag up 20 yards away. Opportunities for both teams. Mejia Baron's team. Yet to put it past Soronmu. They've had 3 or 4 very good attempts. Garcia Aspe in front for Zage. Save Soronmu. Volley by Zage, stopped by the Nigerian keeper.
Frustration again for Mexico.
And a look at the replay. As that was sent in by Garcia Aspe on the stride, touched by Zage. Soronmu able to touch it down and no appreciable rebound. Soronmu embellishing his credentials. And Zage showing exactly why he is so dangerous. As Ramirez Corrales watches defensively, loose in the box. Shot is wide of Campos. As Siasia was forced wide. Little knot on there as he got inside the defender. Campos had the angle covered. In the 31st minute. Still looking for a goal, not lacking for excitement. U.S. Cup 95, Bernal squares it off. Garcia Aspe wins it. Little bit of luck for Faludo as he totally botched that ball, and it went off the corner flag to save the corner kick.
We were hoping that Hakeem Olajuwon might show up for the game. He's a big fan of the Nigerian team. Of course, he's a former soccer goalkeeper. I was reading during the NBA playoffs that one of the moves he pulled, he said, was actually a soccer move that he had adapted for basketball, but he's just one of many athletes in our other sports that have taken something from soccer. Cal Ripken was an avid soccer player in his youth and attributes some of the strength in his legs and his durability. John McEnroe played a lot of soccer growing up as well, and you know how quick he was at that baseline.
Coming to the net and also discussing things with the referee.
Too bad they didn't have yellow cards in tennis.
In the book. Ramirez now for Mexico. Breeze walks it up and tees it up. A cannon shot that Soronmu has again.
Well, if Soronmu had any jitters going into this game, they've disappeared. He's made a couple of fine saves, and he's certainly been under fire as Mexico now has the advantage in shots over Nigeria by 8-2. But Soronmu has been the difference. And the couple of times that Nigeria has broken forward the other way, they've looked even more dangerous than Mexico.
Jorge Rodriguez, number 20. Number 5, Jesus Ramon Ramirez. 4 saves for Soronmu. Campos yet to really make a save. One best attempt went over the top, untouched by Campos. Alberto Garcia Aspe will have the throw-in for Mexico. Delomo sends it in. Knotted up and over the top. Okafor with that defensive play.
A very important defensive play there by Uche Okafor, their number 5. And it's only justice because remember that ball against Colombia deflected off of his head. That was the deciding goal for Colombia 1-0 over Nigeria. But this time, Okafor saved a goal.
Ramirez will take the corner. Flick on, and oh, lifted wide by Hermosillo. Carlos Hermosillo. Played a little bit in Belgium, has come back to Mexico, plays with Cruz Azul.
He's such a powerful player in the box, particularly in the air. Couldn't reach that one with his left foot, but what a pace he scores at in the Mexican League. He had 35 goals this year in just 37 games. So an offensive force to be contended with for these Nigerian defenders today.
Mexico back on it. Garcia Aspe. And Breeze. Collected by the Nigerian defense. Mexican fans doing a little impromptu wave here at the Cotton Bowl. I would assume a lot of these folks drove well over 6-7 hours from northern Mexico to see their national side.
They've seen a very entertaining game. Mexico going forward a great deal. They have 4 corner kicks already. We mentioned the shooting statistics. Mexico trying to get forward into attack. They've also freed up Ramirez on the right side to be able to go forward more than he did in the previous 2 U.S. Cup games.
Nearly intercepted. Nigerians a little bit sloppy on the back line on more than a few occasions today, and they've yet to really be burned by it. But they've danced on the edge of disaster in that regard. Claudio Suarez collects that ball. And Breeze now. Jorge Rodriguez.
He should have played it even earlier out to Ramirez. Ramirez wanted it. Very systematic in their build-up, Mexico is. Short passing game. Rarely will go immediately forward.
Foul against Nigeria. The immediate restart, and Breeze will take it. He takes his time. There's Bernal. Zage on the far post, clearly offside. Rather, Garcia Aspe. Our linesmen Ed Resendez and Laszlo Nagy today of the United States. An all-American crew working this match between Mexico and Nigeria.
Nigeria will try to defend their African Nations Cup championship this next January. They won the previous one in '94. Obviously, they are among the powers of African soccer, and they proved that in this past World Cup. Narrowly being eliminated by Italy in the second round.
Okpara, number 6. Enegwe looking to get that ball back, but Suarez puts it up. And Breeze comes back to win it. Mexico could have numbers if they push. Bernal with the ball. Nwanu is there. Garcia Aspe settles. Now Breeze. And Zage slips it ahead. Garcia Aspe locks up space in front of him. Tackled from behind, and cleanly we play on.
Very strong tackle and a very well-timed tackle as Garcia Aspe was about to dish that ball off to Zage.
And Dukwe lays it off. Siasia in a tussle. Delomo won that ball. Now Zage for Garcia Aspe. Zage makes a run. Returns pass, couldn't get there, and Nwanu intercepted it.
And Nwanu's so solid in defense there. He's huge, he's very powerful. He's also very intelligent in anticipating the Mexican attacks.
Hermosillo with the foul. Sunday night baseball on ESPN. Giants and the Dodgers. Doesn't get much better than that. First pitch, 7:56 Eastern time tomorrow evening, right after baseball tonight. Ramirez Paraliso, foul against Mexico. Akbobori taken down.
These two teams met just this past January in Saudi Arabia in the King Fahd Cup, and it was a 1-1 tie, although Mexico prevailed in penalty kicks. An obvious foul there out on the left side, I think called against Del Olmo. That's Joaquin Del Olmo.
Mexico has played several other matches this year here in the United States. They played Uruguay in San Diego in February, won that 1-0. Lost to Chile in Los Angeles in March 2-1, and then of course the 3 matches of the USA Cup. Their loss to the USA, their draw with Colombia the other evening. Ty and I were in Washington for that match.
Nigeria's had a busy year, and they've also played some top-level teams. They managed to tie Argentina 0-0. They lost to England at Wembley narrowly by a 1-0 score. And they also beat Japan 3-0. So they're busy as well, the Nigerians.
Carlos Alberto watching this team show an improved offensive understanding today. Zage. It is a warm day. Well, it's all the way down to 95 degrees. I guess Bill can put his sport coat back down on the field. Free kick for Nigeria now. Knotted out on the kick by Akbabari. Opara settles. And Ndukwe holding off Bernal, and Ndukwe still on the ball and put out finally by Ramirez Perales.
And Ndukwe is showing some great strength in holding off defenders as he dribbled very dangerously into the Mexican penalty area. Bernal, trying to stay with him, was very afraid to foul him in the box, and Ndukwe took the advantage and forced the corner kick.
Ndukwe will take the corner kick. The Roja has moved up. At the 18, no mistaking that ball by Suarez. And Sarungu comes well out of his area.
Carlos Alberto, who we just saw a moment ago on the Nigerian bench, had a few fine years playing for the New York Cosmos in the North American Soccer League, so he is familiar with soccer in this country, but now he's helping Nigeria.
Zage on the ball, trying to slip a through ball for Ramirez on the right side. At halftime, as we mentioned, Daley Thompson and his efforts in soccer, highlights of prior matches of U.S. Cup 95, and we will take a look at the highlights, and there have been some good ones of this first half. In front of a good crowd here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. This venue will be used for Major League Soccer next year. Dallas Franchise 1 to be operated by the league next season. Zage tackled down again. It'll be a corner kick.
Well, there's some of the payback, in fact, from what Bill McDermott was talking about. Ciacia saying, Suarez and Ramirez Perales, they keep hammering me from behind. But look at the beating that Zage then takes at the other end.
Garcia Aspe on the corner kick now. Zage, oh, that deft touch. Nobody there to collect it at the 18.
The heel flick with his left foot, of course.
Up the ornamental nature of that right foot, but he's played the right wing a little bit. Did so against Colombia in the last minutes at RFK Stadium on Wednesday. We've seen some play on the off wing. Settled by Nigeria. And Ndukwe.
A wasted opportunity there, and Ndukwe trying to take that shot perhaps too early. They had almost a 3-against-1 advantage going forward against the Mexican defense, as Ramirez Perales was probably the only Mexican defender really in position. There is Ramirez Perales only racing back at the last moment where a couple other Mexican defenders, and there were options, including at the far post, for him to be able to slide the ball through into Ciacia. He didn't take it, and he misfired totally on the shot.
On such a warm day, you can expect a couple of injury stoppages, perhaps for no other reason, just get a little bit of water on a warm afternoon in the 42nd minute.
You can also expect the mental errors of the players to start to increase, and perhaps they're on that last chance going forward. The heat starting to get to them, don't recognize the open player.
U.S. Cup 95. The champion will be determined tomorrow at Rutgers University. Godwin Okpara shaken up. USA needs only to draw against Colombia. Colombia can win the cup should they win that match. Abdullahi is warming up, possibly as a substitution. Bill McDermott's on the field. Bill.
Pace of this first half is really starting to slack just a bit in the waning moments, simply because of the heat. A little difference in the way these teams attack. Enrique is getting in deep, doing a lot of individual things, as is Ciacia. The Mexicans, on the other hand, attempt to knock it around a bit. Then they always attempt to go to this right flank. They've been consistent in doing that, and then Wanu in the back is wise to it now. So a little difference in contrast in the way these teams attack. Bob?
All right, Bill, corner kick now for Mexico. In the 43rd minute, Saruma, who has been crackerjack in this first half. 6 corners for Mexico, only 2 for Nigeria so far. Played on the ground from Garcia Aspe on the Delomo corner and cleared out.
Less than 2 minutes remaining here in this first half, and Nigeria, to conserve energy, will lay more players back and only go for that quick, straightforward burst on the counterattack that Bill McDermott just mentioned. The Mexican teams always very systematic in their short passing possession game and in their build-ups into the attack.
In this final minute or so of the first half, Nigeria is readying a substitution. Abdullahi will be coming on, we understand, for Babalati. So they have already presented the sub to come into the match, even though we have about a minute and a half plus some stoppage time in this first half. Garcia Aspe for Zage was onside, but too much pace on it.
A big day for Sarunmo, the Nigerian goalkeeper. He's been the difference.
Yes, he has, and I have to wonder if you remember coming to the States last year for World Cup '94, Rufai was not the keeper of choice. It has been an on and off relationship for him with the starting position. I wonder whether Sarunmo has done a great deal to help himself looking ahead towards the African Nations Cup.
He may have done well enough. He does not possess the overall experience that Peter Rufai does. Today, he's been very sharp. He's been able to keep the Mexicans at bay.
Abdullahi will come on, replacing Babalati. Babalati plays domestically in Nigeria, and he was shaken up. Bawa Abdullahi, who plays for the Julius Berger Football Club in Nigeria, making his 5th appearance for the Nigerian national side. Live at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas, U.S. Cup '95. Final minute plus stoppage time of the first half. Nigeria and Mexico. What has been a very entertaining end-to-end, but still scoreless match. Bill McDermott, Ty Kale, Bob Lee for ESPN. And that ball will be a Nigeria throw-in as we are now in stoppage time. That time kept by Arturo Angeles, our referee on the field.
Mexico came here with a fully loaded roster in terms of World Cup experience, in terms of players that they are planning on using at the Copa America this summer in Uruguay. But their coach, Mejia Barón, now backpedaling and saying, well, they're really only using this to tune up and try and find their rhythm for this Copa America, trying to discount the idea that they really came here with a solid squad looking to win this U.S. Cup.
That's called spin control in any language. Halftime. And so 45 minutes of entertaining end-to-end, but scoreless soccer in U.S. Cup '95. The keepers, Campos not tested. Sarunmo tested and gets an A+ for the first half. Coming up halftime, a look at Daley Thompson and also U.S. Cup '95 highlights.
ACG means all conditions gear, and all conditions means all conditions.
U.S. Cup '95 featuring the U.S., Mexico, Colombia, and Nigeria, June 11th through 25th in Boston, New Jersey, Washington, D.C., and Dallas. Tickets available at all Ticketmaster outlets or charged by phone.
Halftime in Big D. Mexico on Nigeria, U.S. Cup 95. The table, the standings of this tournament, rather simple. The USA on top at this point, but Colombia still with a chance to win. Tomorrow, the match in New Jersey, the USA need only draw with Colombia to win U.S. Cup 95. Colombia with a victory would finish with 7 points and still could be champion. The pictures behind these numbers, a look back at these 2 weeks of soccer. The U.S. Cup began with a shock for the States. J.J. Okocha scoring for Nigeria in the 6th minute, but twice the U.S. came from behind. Just before halftime, Mike Burns into Marcelo Balboa for the header, and then in the second half, the winning goal. Ernie Stewart down the wing, setting up Kobe Jones impressively for the USA. Colombia defeated Nigeria on John Gomez deflected free kick off the face of Uche Okafor. Then the finest hour for the USA against Mexico. 3rd minute, Claudio Reyna sends in Roy Wegerle for the score. Casey Keller's return to the national side was auspicious, and Reyna, who had 2 assists, with the final goal of a 4-0 win for the U.S., putting them in position to win U.S. Cup 95. The champion receives this trophy of Waterford Crystal, and that will be determined tomorrow at Piscataway, New Jersey, at Rutgers Stadium. ABC Sports live coverage. At 1 p.m. Eastern Time, the USA and Colombia, the long-anticipated rematch from last year's World Cup 94. We're at halftime in Big D. Look ahead at Daley Thompson, decathlete, playing soccer when we return.
Next time you have a repair project, stop in our True Value hardware store. We have been helping Roselle, Bloomingdale, Medina, and Itasca homeowners solve their hardware problems for 25 years. We are the direct factory dealer for Homelight, the best twin blade mulching mower, Weber, barbecue grill, Scott's, the 4-step lawn fertilizer. Did you know we build and repair screens and storms, install our master plumber water heaters, and fill propane? Yes, help is just around the corner at our True Value hardware store.
Six Flags Great America has 6 big reasons to visit. The all-new roller coaster, Viper. The dazzling new international stage show, Emidi. Hollywood-style thrills of the Batman stunt show. Out-of-this-world fun on Space Shuttle America. Bugs Bunny's Yukon Adventure. All new fun for kids. And the incredible heart-pounding Batman the Ride. Make a day now for new excitement and family fun at the theme park bigger than Disneyland and closer to home. Six Flags Great America.
To race car, it's always been the thing that I was going to do. I love speed, I love being on an edge and trying to control that edge, and you get all of that in car racing.
You're like a balloon full of pressure before the race, and you have to find a valve to release the pressure. And every driver has a different way. I'm very persistent and always fight very much to catch up again and to go back. Like any other sports, the goal is to win.
Look, a MasterCard won't make you different or unique, okay? Actually, maybe it will. I mean, millions of people use MasterCard, but yours is meant for you and you alone. So if someone steals it, instead of worrying about people running around pretending to be you, call right away and cancel it. Because, after all, there's only one you. What's more, even if somebody does manage to charge stuff to you, you won't pay a cent. And we may even be able to get you a new card the next day. But just for you. Now, how's that for a useful card? MasterCard, it's more than a credit card, it's smart money.
Mexico and Nigeria at the half. U.S. Cup 95. We have seen these players and their skills on display at halftime. The challenge and the lure of soccer, it has drawn in the man once universally regarded as the best athlete in the world. Here's Dick Schaap.
If Michael Jordan is arguably the most gifted athlete ever to grace American sports, Daley Thompson is clearly the most gifted athlete ever to grace British sports. Their careers overlapped in Los Angeles in 1984. Jordan won the first of his 2 Olympic gold medals in basketball. Thompson won the second of his 2 Olympic gold medals in the decathlon. He was only the second man in Olympic history to win the demanding event twice. Their careers overlapped again 10 years later. In 1994, Jordan, in his early 30s, turned from basketball to minor league baseball. Thompson, in his late 30s, turned from track and field to minor league soccer.
I've always felt that people like myself who are driven shouldn't just sort of give up and just sort of do nothing. I went out and to try and find myself a few challenges.
Thompson played for minor league Reading last year. Now is with the Wimbledon Football Club in England's Premier Division. But he is a member of Wimbledon's reserve team, the practice team. He knows he is not good enough to play in league games.
When you're playing with a lot of guys who know what they're doing and you're sort of a complete novice, it's really difficult.
Thompson's position is striker, not the kind of striker Jordan was in his brief baseball career. A key offensive position that requires quickness, agility, and skill. Even at his age, Thompson has quickness and agility.
If he was 18, then he'd be very good because he's quick, he's strong, he's good in the air, and he's got a raw material that you could work with.
What are Thompson's chances of ever playing in the big leagues?
But the same chances of Michael Jordan knocking on my front door next week. Very slim.
Thompson, too, assesses his prospects realistically.
I think it's possible that I might be able to get a contract in a lower league and just have a few games and just really enjoy myself.
Perhaps better than anyone, Daley Thompson appreciates what Michael Jordan went through in baseball.
When you've reached as high a peaks as he has, then obviously people expect a lot more of you than sometimes you're able to give.
Of soccer on Daley Thompson. We're at halftime. U.S. Cup 95, Mexico and Nigeria. Tonight I'll take a look at the first half highlights of the Cotton Bowl as we continue on a warm day in Big D.
U.S. Cup 95, featuring the U.S., Mexico, Colombia, and Nigeria, June 11th through 25th in Boston, New Jersey, Washington, D.C., and Dallas. Tickets available at all Ticketmaster outlets or charged by phone.
It has been entertaining and end-to-end, but we have yet to see a goal. Welcome back, U.S. Cup 95, live at the Cotton Bowl, along with Tolman German and Ty Keel. I'm Bob Lee. Statistically, in this first half, it did belong offensively, at least, Ty, to Mexico.
Mexico were into the attack. They were getting players forward. They were very systematic. They got it out wide to Rodriguez quite a bit. And as you look at the statistics, it bears that out. 8 shots to 2. That's a huge differential. But the few times that Nigeria did get forward, they looked every bit as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than the Mexicans.
Especially on the counterattack. But if you had to write the story of the first half, you would say it really was in the person, Nigerian keeper Ike Soronmo.
Here's a chance. Del Olmo taking in from the left side, and then Zage leaving his feet, but smothered by Soronmo as he read it very well, coming up with a huge save at that point in the game. And this is Del Olmo, this time cutting inside, and he's going to line up a shot. He sees some space, and he hits a swerving, dipping ball. Soronmo then comes over and collects it very well, even though that ball was dancing out in front of him. But Soronmo under heavy pressure later on by Mexico. This time he has to get down very low. The ball was deflected, in fact, and he showed supremely confident reflexes and reaching back and swatting that ball away.
And Nigeria, when they were able to make their move on Campos, did it quickly and nearly lethally. That one just going wide, and Campos not really tested the way he was the other evening against Colombia in that scoreless draw at RFK Stadium. We are at halftime here in Dallas of a scoreless match. A reminder that we have the second half upcoming for you. U.S. Cup 95 tomorrow, the championship to be determined, but these two teams have given us entertainment. We'll continue in a moment.
For years, people have done their thinking on the run. Now they can do their business on the run, thanks to the breakthrough that fits in your pocket. Zorus, the personal digital assistant from Sharp that gives you the freedom to write it, type it, sign it, and fax it anytime, anywhere.
John, hello, mate. Just got your fax. But you really should get out of the office a bit more.
I know, you want a pile of new music, but you don't want to spend a pile of cash. So get down to Disco Round. Disco Round has thousands of compact discs, all your favorites, all guaranteed to sound like new, and all priced at $5.95 and $7.95. We'll even buy your old CDs for up to $5. Disco Round, a pile of new music without spending a pile of cash.
Disco Round in Bloomingdale Court, Bloomingdale, open 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day.
Miss Mullen? Yes. I just want to be sure that you understand your Dutch tulips are right on the street luge course. Luge course? Yeah. People are racing downhill. Aluminum boards, little wheels. Getting up to 70 miles an hour, pulling upwards of 6 Gs. Is that a lot? Oh, yeah. That ought to hold her.
Umbro, available at a Champ Sports near you.
Today's live and uninterrupted ESPN special event is proudly presented to you in part by Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth. By Beechwood H. Budweiser, it's always been true, this Bud's for you. And by MasterCard. MasterCard, it's more than a credit card, it's smart money. The Extreme Games, they're upon us. They begin tomorrow on ESPN and the Deuce. Deuce tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time. 27 different events. They'll have sports biking and bungee jumping, the Echo Challenge, inline skating, skateboarding, sky surfing. There's a sport for you. Street luge racing, sport climbing, water sports. The Extreme Games on ESPN and the Deuce beginning Sunday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the Deuce. The Mexican fans, wow. Imagine painting yourself on a day like today when the temperature's kissing 100 degrees on the field. Speaking of the field, that's where Bill McDermott is watching a very entertaining match. Bill?
Highly entertaining, Bob. And I said earlier, only until the waning stages of that first half did the players really start to slow down. Otherwise, it was a breakneck pace from the very center off to the waning stages. Up and back, both teams. Nigerians show their explosion speed on the counterattacking, and as Ty and I talked about, Mexicans a little more predictable with the build-up. They'll go short, long, short, forward, back, forward, but continuing to try to find Ramon Ramirez at the right flank and interchanging between Carlos Hermosillo and Zage up on top. And by the way, you talked about the fact that it's close to 100 degrees. I'd just like to ask you before I send it back to you, Bob, are you comfortable up there? Everything okay? You get a little ice water, maybe a little fruit compote. You comfortable up there?
Yeah, the frozen pomegranates have yet to arrive, but it is nice up here. Thanks, Bill. Right down on the field. The clubs have yet to make their reappearance. They may have asked for a little extra time to get some more fluids here at halftime at the Cotton Bowl, which was, as we said, a venue for World Cup 94. They played 6 different matches here. This venue will also be used next year for Major League Soccer. Mexican pride, And I would have to have a feeling a lot of these fans, it really didn't matter to them that Mexico had lost to the U.S. and had drawn with Colombia. Just to have a chance to see their national side in action for them, having been denied that during the World Cup, a great reason to come and celebrate here today.
Well, not only that, looking at the last sign that we saw up in the stands, they'd like to see Mexico score a goal. They've not scored a goal in this tournament.
There you go, 90, let's call that about 97 degrees down on the field. Boy, the heat taking its toll on all the folks here.
It's really gotten to him. Look at those eyeballs.
I think that kind of is borne out with the extreme games, which begin tomorrow. And, of course, the Stanley Cup. If there is a Game 5, you shall see it here on ESPN Monday. The Devils and Detroit, 8 p.m. Eastern with an asterisk, if needed, with the Devils rampaging through so far the 3-0 lead on the Red Wings. And if there's a Game 5, we'll have it on Monday. Warm, muggy afternoon.
We've got some comeuppance from Mexico after the pre-game tiff regarding the national anthems where Nigeria refused to come out and play. It appears that now Mexico is delaying the start of the second half, tit for tat to the Nigerians. So Mexico has not appeared from their locker room as of yet.
Neither has Nigeria. Some of the Nigerian players came out and did warm up. So we said for Nigeria, this tournament being used looking ahead towards African Nations Cup, and when they do come out finally down that tunnel, we will see it. And for Mexico, looking ahead towards Copa America, where they will play Uruguay and Paraguay and Venezuela. For the United States, and we were talking with Steve Sampson after the match Wednesday at Washington. He says, you know we win U.S. Cup with a draw, but you know what has become an almost typically Sampson-esque remark is we're not going for Eastern time. The United States, of course, moving. As they make their way out. We'll step aside for just a moment with the second half yet to begin. We'll see if the pace of the second half with this heat can match the entertainment we've seen in the first half. Nigeria and Mexico, the kickoff for the second half in a moment.
Bud. Wines. Bud. Bud. Wines. Bud. Wines. Bud. Bud. Wines. Bud. Wines. Bud. Wines. Bud. Wines. Bud.
You know, some credit card companies act like when you get one of their cards, you'll spend your days arranging flowers someplace grand. I mean, come on. A credit card is a tool. You pick a hammer based on how well it hammers. You pick a credit card based on how useful it is. And no credit card is more useful than MasterCard. Because no card is more accepted on the planet than MasterCard. So you can use it for groceries or drywall or trips to Sweden and pretty much anything else you need, even flower arrangements. Look for your Gold MasterCard application and apply.
Nigeria and Mexico ready to kick off this second half with the tit-for-tat gamesmanship of the anthem problems leading into the game, and then Mexico taking their time on the locker rooms here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Don't believe any further substitutions have been made since Babalati came out late in the first half and Abdullahi went in. Mexico in the white tops. And this segment of the game is presented commercial-free by Budweiser. Zage fighting for that ball. Soronmu comes out of his area to get a foot to it.
Trying to show up Campos. Despite the heat, both of these teams should still be very determined. We've not had Mexico score a goal in this tournament. Nigeria has not been able to get a result in terms of getting a point in this tournament. They lost the first game against the USA, and then they lost against Colombia as well.
Here's a break down the right side. Goal! Nigeria. Akpobare down the wing. And the first minute of the second half, and Nigeria takes a 1-0 lead.
We talked about it the entire first half, how quick and how devastating and explosive the Nigerians could be on the quick counter. And this time, Jonathan Akpobare breaks down the right side. Look at it, not enough numbers back for the Mexican defense. A very wisely played pass into space, and Akpobare lifts it over the top of Campos, who had come out to cut the angle. So a bit of skill there, in fact, to be able to lift that ball over. Akpobare then, he had a bouncing ball to deal with. Campos, in fact, did touch it with his fingertips, but it carried over him with some topspin into the net. And a tough thing for Mexico to try and come back here. Very quick on the counterattack. Nigeria, as always.
Live action as that ball is sent in on Soronmu. Let's go down to Bill McDermott, who's got a very happy Nigerian coach with him.
Ronnie, I got to go to him quick.
Bill?
I'm with Coach Shaibo Amadou. Coach, I was about to ask you how you liked the first half performance, but you obviously like better the way the second half started.
Yeah, that's true, because the first half was quite good. And I must tell you that this is a match we want to win at all costs today. And the opposition, too, has been very, very stiff. But I'm sure by the end of 90 minutes, we will come out victorious because we want to win this match.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
All right, Bill. Shaibu Amadou, whose team has just taken a 1-0 lead on Akpobare's goal here at the Cotton Bowl. Zage looking for that. Will be a throw-in for Mexico.
Amadou's been very successful in Nigeria in the domestic leagues. His club teams there have won all of the domestic competitions at some point. So now he's looking for a little bit of success at the international level. He has Mexico down 1-0.
Luis Garcia has come on number 10 for Mexico, replacing Hermosillo. So Garcia out there with his America teammate Zage. Mexico now trailing. Looking for Zage on the box, harmlessly through.
Number 15, Misael Espinosa, also on the field for Mexico. Another change that they made coming into this second half. He's a very good attacker. He can score from outside with the right foot. There's your goal scorer right in the opening minute, practically, of the second half. Nigeria struck that quickly. Akpobare.
Ramirez, number 5, has come out. Hermosillo, number 7, has left the field now for Mexico. Those the two starting players who have taken a seat. Nigeria 1, Mexico 0 on Akpobare's goal, chipped over Campos in the 46th minute. Now Zage. Garcia Aspe against Nwannu. Ambriz looking to tee it up. Ambriz blocked down inside the box.
Ambriz hesitated just for a moment. Perhaps he should have taken the long one with the right foot.
Garcia Aspe looking to settle, has to collect it now. Will play maybe for the corner. No, he'll come back. With Delomo behind him in support. Garcia Aspe, look at that. Foul is whistled. He wanted to play on, but Arturo Angeles called the foul.
Garcia Aspe, very difficult to take off the ball. He spins on a dime. He's very powerfully built, low to the ground, and he had broken down that Nigerian defenders there and was off to the races.
Headed out by Faludu, and a corner kick now for Mexico, trailing 1-0, yet to score a goal.
We saw Siasia there with the armband. Samson Siasia plays for France.
Soronmu is loose 8 yards away with Bernal in front, but he collects the rebound off the corner kick, the outswinger. Soronmu has been right now the man of the match for Nigeria.
Another corner kick for Mexico, and they had a huge differential in those in the first half. Soronmu at first did not hold it. One of the few miscues we've seen by him, but he was able to recover.
Directly behind, because your yellow shirt's like this, okay?
Throwing for Mexico. Nigeria striking quickly and characteristically quickly here in the second half, and so they have the lead. That is onside. Espinosa, Misael Espinosa, second half substitute, looking for Garcia in the box, and he goes down. We play on. Mexican fans, now they really need to see a goal to get their team and their country back in this match. Mexico yet to score in U.S. Cup 95.
And it may take Luis Garcia. Here you see him fighting his way into the Nigerian penalty area, not successfully, but he is a lethal attacker. He showed that in the World Cup, scoring 2 goals against Ireland in a very important match for them in that group of death.
Again, to recap, Espinosa and Garcia have come on. Ramirez and Hermosillo have left the match.
What about the work that Garcia did the other night against Colombia, fighting to win the ball back anytime the Colombian backfield had it in possession?
And Menger has come on, and Duque has taken his seat. That a defensive, I would say a man-for-man substitution. Menger also a forward for Nigeria. And Garcia was all over the field the other evening in Washington against Colombia, a match that ended in a scoreless draw. But this, now with Nigeria leading it 1-0.
The Nigerians may miss Ndukwe. I thought he had a good first half. Most of those dangerous situations that Nigeria did create, he was involved with Siasia or Okpabari.
Okpabari on the ball, looking in front. The flick on Campos is there. Flag was up. That was offside nonetheless. A lead, that's offside. Garcia on the ball, but the linesman had his flag up across the way.
So the Nigerians have effectively taken this crowd out of the game up to this point, but the spark of a player like Garcia could bring them back in.
Some objects have been thrown on the field by Mexican fans. Thrown at the linesman who had lifted his flag. Those are plastic bottles, but thrown from a distance and at full. They are dangerous. Zage in the box against Nwannu. Espinosa over the top from a very sharp angle.
Misael Espinosa, the number 15 for Mexico. He plays for Guadalajara of the first division, and I've seen him score many goals from that type of angle. He's not afraid to shoot from the bad angle. He gets a swerve to the ball. Zage holds the ball, lays it off nicely, and Espinosa is thinking only one thing, and that is to crack that ball and get it to bend to that far post. And many players from there would try and cross the ball, but not him. He is lethal from right there and has scored many goals in the Mexican first division from exactly that position.
Ambriz settles. Garcia Aspe down, and we'll see a card against Godwin Okpara here on the 54th minute. So the second card of the match, the first for Nigeria.
There's Okpara coming in. Garcia Aspe slides it past him, and then from behind, Okpara hooks him, picks up the yellow card. It may have been a little bit harsh, actually. Godwin Okpara, the number 6 for Nigeria, was the captain of the '89 Youth World Cup Championship team, and this year was named the best African player in Belgium.
Espinosa tries to win a corner, but it will be a goal kick. There's a Nigerian player down 60 yards away, just over the midfield line, and see if he'll be attended to. He was down as that play developed. Okpabari is down. Okpara got that yellow card, and while that was happening, Okpabari went down. I don't know what happened behind the play.
May have happened away from the play, and that will incense players. Zage shoving off a couple of Nigerian players, using his 6'5" frame to hold off as many as he could. Now everyone's making up.
Well, Luis Garcia, number 10 in white, does speak English. I am not aware that many, if any, of the Nigerians speak Spanish, but you see Abdullahi out there trying just to very calmly rub a few shoulders and calm everything down. But something happened, and evidently
Arturo Angeles just pulled out another yellow card. I believe he directed it at Joaquin Del Olmo. So Del Olmo may have kicked Okpabari away from the play.
That's when a referee needs his linesman to help him on a situation like that.
And he did. He consulted with his linesman here on the near side.
So DeLomo was carded. That happened behind the play. A shot on Akbabari, the goal scorer, and he was down well behind that last play. Tension, tempers rising. Nigeria has the only goal of the match. We are at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. U.S. Cup 95 on ESPN. Akbabari in the 46th minute. Two quick cards here in the second half. And Ike Soronmu, the Nigerian keeper, was the difference in the first half. Ambriz. Now Bernal. He has Espinoza to his right. Zage now with some room. Ignacio Ambriz, number 4, circling to the center. Espinoza goes down. And a free kick about 25 yards away for Mexico.
He was flipped by Iroha from behind. A nice build-up in the attack just a moment ago, and Bernal using his ability to strike very accurate long balls, able on the diagonal to find Zage. Later on, Espinoza here, there is some contact made. Espinoza, like most forwards, as soon as he was touched, dove a bit to dramatize.
Driven ball is in! Garcia Aspe ties the match. Mexico has scored finally.
The Nigerians protesting, but the Mexican fans, the emotion spills out onto the field for their team. And Garcia Aspe, very dangerous in these situations. They're about 23.5 yards out. The ball, in fact, deflects off the wall, very similarly to the goal scored by Colombia against Nigeria earlier in the week. But Aspe with the left foot bends the ball. It hits the Nigerian defender on the end of the wall, thereby fooling Soronmu, the Nigerian goalkeeper, who's had such a fine performance today.
Garcia Aspe, his 11th goal for the national side in his 38th appearance for Mexico. And they are still irate. You see Benaroja and Artur Angeles.
The only thing I can consider is that they weren't ready for the kick. Many times when the referee will push the wall back to the required 10 yards, he will ask the shooter to wait until he's walked off the distance. And Garcia Aspe may have taken that shot, at least the Nigerians are claiming, before the referee had given permission for the kick to take place.
And Siasia won't turn around so that Angeles can see his number. He, I believe, is going into the book.
As the captain, Siasia feels he should speak his mind, but at this point, it's moot.
Participating in today's commercial-free presentation is Avis. Well, set pieces are a traditional Nigerian
nightmare.
Yeah, Achilles heel. In the last 11 games, they've given up 7 goals on set pieces.
Now look at the one Marcelo Balboa scored off the head for the USA on the day he received his 100th cap.
Zage, and a whistle behind the play.
The ball had gone out of play.
As Zage tightrope the sideline, but it is, it's behind the play. They argue for the ball. You can see Zage and Nwanu. This match is teetering on the brink of anarchy at this moment. Late kickoff of the first half, late kickoff for the second half. Carlos Alberto has seen many things like this, I'm sure, before, but in the friendly context of the U.S. Cup, this match is a red welt right now. Siasia, foul behind the play.
Zage, though, starting to lose his composure a little bit, shoving around Nwanu. Nwanu wanted a card. Nwanu protected himself, shoved a little bit. Zage getting out of hand.
So a free kick for Nigeria in what has become a very ill-tempered match. Samson Siasia with the yellow. Handball against Garcia, about 25 yards out.
Almost the exact spot that Mexico just scored from. Nigeria will now have a chance. They've had a problem defending set pieces, Nigeria has. That hurt them dearly against Argentina during the World Cup. We saw it hurt them against the United States in this U.S. Cup.
Jonathan Akbabari takes a quick free kick, a page out of Mexico's book. Turnabout being fair play. He dummied that well and took it immediately.
The If you can catch the other team napping, you might as well, and it appeared to work for Garcia Aspe on the tying goal for Mexico. Here's the chance. The ball bending towards that upper corner, but then curling around the post.
The Mexican wall was not set by any stretch at that point. So these teams now are out literally for blood. Cross out of the area. Sent wide by Faludu. Parlays it back. Akpobari with a touch. Faludu.
So the Nigerians storming back here, trying to take the lead again.
And the ball won by Garcia Aspe, and knotted out. It'll be a throw-in for Mexico. The Mexican fans ready to explode at the first sign of offense from the tricolor team.
It's very warm out there. Players getting frustrated. Mexico is just trying to look at the shove there from Zage. A little slap back by Nwanu, but frustration for Nigeria. They've just given up the tying goal, and Zage getting away and shoving around the Nigerian defender Nwanu.
Also participating in bringing you today's game is Umbro. This match at the Cotton Bowl, which entertained in the first half and now almost needs a mediator in the second half. Garcia, Espinosa's on it now. Espinosa with Garcia lurking in the box, the far post, and nobody there. Mexico won, Nigeria won. Artistry in the first half, muscle in the second half, and 2 goals. Akpobari and Garcia Aspe. Nigeria upset at the speed with which Garcia Aspe took the free kick. Foul against Ambriz as he took down Siasia. Enegwe with a ball in the box. And Campos puts a foot to it, back to Delomo, and he very quickly had to cut it wide. Espinosa. Lots of time and space. Garcia filling the middle. He crisscrosses. And put out by Nwanu.
A bad selection there by Espinosa as he had an overlapping Ambriz coming to his aid, but did not deliver the ball to him.
Rodriguez looking for Garcia Aspe. That's lifted up. Bill McDermott is on the field. Bill.
By the way, Bob, with less than 30 minutes left in this game, a 1-each tie, this game not for the faint of heart. The tackling is really, really hard, very severe. So if you're not accustomed to some difficult, hard tackling, this is not the place for you. The Mexicans equalized in a trademark play. Bernal sent the ball 50, 60 yards in the air to the left wing corner flag. Zage sent it across, and that's how they won that dead ball situation. The Nigerians showing one more time their stunning vulnerability to set pieces. Back to you, Bob.
And as far as the tackling goes, some of the tackles that have missed have been the most dangerous.
Rodriguez behind Zage in the box. And now Mexico turning up the pressure, ratcheting it up. Jorge Rodriguez able to make that move from the back line.
Will the crowd be the difference for Mexico today?
The atmosphere is definitely Mexican. And on cue, you hear the chant. Sorondo now for Akpara. Faludu. Delomo put it out. 64th minute of a rugged match. The Nigerians upset before the match because of the mistake with the national anthem. Mexico stayed in the locker room late for the second half, and you see in frustration there, a ball batted down. Just a verbal warning there given. As Akpobari says, he had my shirt. Akpobari, the goal scorer for Nigeria. Espinosa couldn't save that ball. 65th minute at the Cotton Bowl. Well, tomorrow Colombia and the USA will determine the champion of US Cup 95. With these two teams playing for pride and a lot of head-to-head anger right now, seemingly. Campos pops it with his left hand.
Foul called against Nigeria there.
So they'll bring it back for the free kick as Campos disappears on the Nigerian end of the benches, and He's a few seconds to reappear from the mass of the Nigerian delegation.
Well, Mexico finally has a goal in this U.S. Cup tournament. They were shut out 4-0 by the USA in their opening game and then had a 0-0 tie with Colombia on Wednesday night. So this would be their second tie game if it stays the same. You would think they would like to score another goal and perhaps go for a victory. Nigeria looking at a chance now. They also not much success in this tournament. They lost to the USA in their first game. And lost to Colombia 1-0 on a similar free kick.
Garcia Aspe, the cross put out with Luis Garcia in front. And a throw in for Mexico. Luis Garcia, twice the Mexican Player of the Year.
He also had a little stint in the Spanish First Division, good enough to sign over in that top-level league. Playing 1 year with Atletico Madrid, and also playing and under contract with Real Sociedad.
Mobi Alparakru, number 20, has come on for Nigeria. Ben Aroha has left, or may leave shortly. They're readying a substitution. So Alparakru will come on at the next opportunity.
Boy, Espinosa's really had some tough touches out there. Not a good game from him so far.
Garcia Aspe for Zage. Flicks it onto himself. And a piece of the shirt, so a whistle. But had they played on, he would have had an excellent scoring opportunity. Quick whistles, but I can't blame Arturo Angeles for whistling things quickly.
If he had a crystal ball, he would have let advantage play on, but he's trying to get on top of this game. He's nearly gotten away from him on a couple of occasions.
That free kick put wide by Garcia Aspe as he took it quickly, and you see Alparakru now, the midfielder, getting ready to come on for Iroha, the defender, which could force a bit of a realignment in the Nigerian grid on the field.
4 players for this Mexico team play for Club America in Mexico City. Zage, Luis Garcia, Joaquin Del Olmo, and also Raul Gutierrez, the defender who's on the bench today for Mexico. So they are well represented.
Homemade number there, Ben Aroha. And Mobi Alparakru is on.
They're a long way from home. Difficult to order another jersey.
Laid off and beautifully. Garcia Aspe looking for Espinosa.
Not a bad idea. Sometimes an early ball there will catch the defense before they've set themselves. Aspe very confident with his left foot, especially curling balls in. We saw him throw it into the net here, although a deflection, I believe, helped him on that free kick.
Bernal wins that ball to Ambriz, and Marcelino Bernal is back on it. Offside. Laszlo Nagy of the United States, the far side linesman. Alberto Coyote is preparing to come on as a substitute. Number 16 for Mexico.
He scored 23 goals this past season for Club Guadalajara, the Chivas.
Garcia Aspe will be coming off.
He's worked very hard. As far as energy output in that first half for Mexico, I think he topped everyone.
Offside flag is up. And they'll move the ball back for the restart. So the heat taking its toll on Garcia Aspe. Coyote, who did play against Colombia on Wednesday night, will come on.
Very quick player, good attacker. Knows how to find the goal. 23 goals in the Mexican First Division this past year for Coyote, the number 16.
And the goal scorer, Garcia Aspe, departs the match. Glad to get some liquid on a sweltering afternoon in Dallas. Coyote will play on the right side for Mexico. Ambriz with a ball now. To play behind the defense, but it's headed back to Serrano.
Well, they're looking for Zage in that corner, much as they did in the early going against Colombia the other night so successfully. And as Bill mentioned, the goal having the free kick resulted from a play where they did find Zage out on that left side. So he'll hang wide, and they'll use the corner space to try to get him to break through.
There's Okwara at midfield circling wisely, and Siasia gets it ahead, gets the return pass. Tackled away by Del Olmo. 1-1 match, 70th minute at the Cotton Bowl. Physical play has settled down a bit. Akpabare slips it inside, still loose, the 18 and lifted wide. at Para.
Siasia getting the last stab at it. Unable to keep it down. So Nigeria still dangerous. Despite the fact that they're fighting the heat, they're fighting the crowd and the momentum since Mexico got the tying goal here just in the last several minutes.
Game settled down a bit. This is the point at which Wednesday night's match settled down, but to the point where not much happened. But Espinosa now with a lift, and Cerrone moved to the edge of his area in a collision to put it out. Coyote making that run.
Coyote also slammed into Cerrone. He slid into him and caught him pretty good. Cerrone, as well as Coyote feeling the contact. We'll see Coyote breaking in behind. There's a loose ball. Cerrone wisely gets out there, wins it, and sliding through and missing the ball was Coyote, but he cracked into with some very hard contact the Nigerian goalkeeper, Cerrone.
4 saves. Beaten once on the free kick that Nigeria thought was taken far too quickly by Garcia Aspe. But the 28-year-old keeper, in his 14th appearance for the national side, in a collision with Coyote, who was shaken up. To Coyote's credit, ran quickly to take that throw and immediately then realized that they were going to stop play, but he was also favoring a knee. Cerrone will stay in. And Breeze, lots of time, drives it into the area, lifted out by Nwannu. Mexico put that ball into play. Campos was near the halfway line.
Claudio Suarez there defending beautifully, using his strength and positioning to extract the ball for the Nigerian defender. He's had a very steady game in the central defense for Mexico. Called him the Emperador, the Emperor, the way he carries himself. Suarez.
Rodriguez with the ball for Garcia. Rodriguez back on it to Luis Garcia. Coyote sends it wide to Espinosa. Misael Espinosa into the area. Headed out. Nigeria looking collected there on defense. And Breeze fights for that ball. Nigeria on the counterattack. Akpobore, their goal scorer. Put away. It was onside, though.
Suarez winning it again.
Faludu's ball for Inegwe. Coyote from a prone position plays it wide to Rodriguez, gets it to Espinosa. 1-1 match. Garcia, who's come out in the second half.
Mexico switching the ball well here out to the left side, using the full width of the field.
Bernal has to collect that ball, but does so. Looking for Zage, headed out of the area. Nice one-touch moves here by Nigeria to clean the ball out of trouble and collect it and try and get something moving. Build an offense in a 1-1 match. Is
never any question of the ball skills of Nigeria. That was demonstrated right there, being able to use the superior touch on the ball to lift it over the Mexican defender and keep possession.
Coloma looking to switch that ball to Espinosa. Another Nigerian player is down. And objects are being thrown at Faludu. Empty water bottles are being thrown at Edema Faludu.
Again, those
they may not be empty.
Generally, those have been those plastic water bottles that are being sold today, which still doesn't make it a good idea. Probably he doesn't risk serious injury if he's hit by one.
And so Faludu will get some attention in the 74th minute. Plays professionally in Turkey in the first division, where Carlos Alberto Pereira will coach Fenerbahce next year on a $2 million annual contract.
Ambris shielding the ball along the sideline, keeps it in play. I don't know that I saw much of anything there. Ambris might have stepped on him inadvertently.
Favored his midsection apparently as he went down. Maybe it was the foot. Maybe it was a rest stop. That happens on a day like today.
It could be. A very courageous performance today by Ramirez Perales, coming back from a knee surgery. He did not play in the first 2 games for Mexico here in this U.S. Cup. And in tandem with the number 2, Claudio Suarez, they've completely restabilized the Mexican defense, which looked so porous against the USA last week in the United States 4-0 victory over Mexico.
Well, the Mexicans have a goal today. That was one of their goals to score. They've done that. It's 1-1. Mexico with the loss. They'll have a drop ball. You don't see that very often. Mexico with a draw and a loss. Nigeria 0-2. No, it'll be a free kick. And they play it right back to Nigeria in a bit of gamesmanship.
Sportsmanship.
So Nigeria has it. Zage missing on the attempted sweep. Bernal watching defensively. Akpabari into the box. Akpabari moves in. Saved with the foot of Campos.
Claudio Suarez came over and I believe got his foot to that ball, but Del Olmo got caught sleeping out here on the right side as the ball was played in behind him. But number 2, Claudio Suarez, a fine defensive game today. Came across before Campos had to save it. We'll see. We'll look on the replay here. So they broke it through. Suarez leaves as his man and gets his foot to it, making sure that Campos does not have to save.
Adema Faluda will take the corner kick. Suarez with that touch out, not Campos. Cleaned up by Espinosa.
Suarez won that last head ball, too.
Okpara, Godwin Okpara blocked down by Del Olmo. Throw in Nigeria. 77th minute in a tie match. Okparuku will take the throw in. Going for distance. Got it up by Rodriguez and put out. Now Zage with lots of room and time. With Garcia on the opposite wing. Zage looking for Garcia, and Espinosa with that long run, able to save the ball and play it right back. Look at this. Excellent move by Espinosa. That ball looked like it was going out. Goal!
Using the full width of the field and switching the point of attack from side to side. But then it's Ambriz with a right-footed rocket into the upper part of the net. He stretches it well. He stretches Soronmu, the Nigerian goalkeeper, as well. But Ambriz, known for his powerful shot, just overpowers the Nigerian goalkeeper, Soronmu, with a shot from over 26 yards out. And it's just sheer power, good placement as well. But that thing was struck with so much force and velocity with the right foot as Ambriz had the time to line it up. But the approach work by Mexico, Zage swinging it all the way over to the right side to Coyote. Coyote then bringing it back to Zage, and finally getting into position was Ambriz.
The flick on right to Campos. It was offside. Incredible sequence for Mexico. Coyote saving that ball from Zage, and Ambriz with a mortar in the 77th minute. And Mexico now has the lead that their fans came to see.
It'll be difficult for Nigeria to come back from this.
Rodriguez on the ball. Let's go down to Bill McDermott. Bill?
Ambriz, but that goal really doesn't come by it strangely. That's another trademark of Mexican attacking soccer. Mike Sorber, the brilliant United States midfielder, told me to the start of this game that in the Colombia game and the United States game, he did not see any long-range shooting from the Mexicans, which he sees all the time in Mexico's first division. They scored 4 goals in the 1994 World Cup, 3 of which were from outside the penalty area. So that's not uncharted territory. Bob?
That on to Campos from Okpara. Scooped up easily.
We had seen Bernal threaten earlier with his right foot from long range, and Garcia Aspe always very dangerous with his left. Ambriz is a player, though, that is the heart of this team, and he's come up with the big goal for Mexico, the go-ahead goal.
Zage zigzagging, that is his style. He goes down, that one is put out at the top by Ambriz. Zage went down looking to draw the foul.
I think they called the foul the other way.
And he gets a speaking to from Senor Angeles. And they will attend to Zage. Luis Roberto Alves, of Brazilian extraction. Zage means zigzag. He's also known as Zaguinho in the Mexican League. So 2 long-distance shots for goals for Mexico. After the Akbabari goal in the first minute of the second half, Garcia Aspe on the free kick, Ambriz with that rocket. And it's 2-1 Mexico.
Your goal scorer, Nacho Ambriz, the captain for Mexico. And they've come from behind. Remember, Nigeria took the lead right after the kickoff practically of this second half. So they have to be reeling. The momentum's gone totally to Mexico. The crowd is back into the game. Thanks in large part some of the runs that Zague has made down this left side. He's been a real weapon for Mexico. They've looked for him, as we mentioned. They played those long balls into the corner to get him to stretch out that Nigerian defense, and in fact led to this go-ahead goal.
He has continually had all sorts of room and time when making those runs here in the second half. Akbabari against Bernal. Ramirez Perales comes through for the ball. Zague tried the nutmeg. Siasia looking for Emenger. Barnabas Emenger, number 19. Emenger pushes it back. Bernal wins the ball. Zague sends it wide to Delomo. Garcia in a little push with Nwannu.
Mexico have varied their attack a little bit more in the second half. They've looked to go forward more early, more with longer balls, and it has started to take its toll on the Nigeria defenders. They've gotten stretched out.
Jorge Campos. Little deft touch, and two quick touches gets it to the halfway line. Alberto Coyote, number 16, against Peludu. Ambriz should put Mexico on top.
Remember, Nigeria playing without J.J. Okocha, who scored that fantastic goal against the United States in their first game of U.S. Cup. He was called back to his German team, Eintracht Frankfurt, and was not able to participate then in this game today. But this Nigerian team, not a tall team by Nigerian standards, and I've noticed that Mexico's done quite well in the air.
Luis Garcia offside.
Nigeria without the size of a Rashidi Yekini. Also without Amokachi's power and speed. So they have a depleted lineup. Mexico here with basically all of their guns.
Okparakru. Ramirez Perales won the ball, sent wide by Ambriz. And Coyote back for Ambriz. Mexico leading at 2-1. Looking for the victory in U.S. Cup 95, a victory in a match. They got the 2 goals after being shut out by both Colombia and the U.S. Put out by Abdullahi. Throw in for Mexico.
Some quality runs, as we mentioned, by Zague on the left side. Espinosa making some excellent runs out on the right side. And Mexico starting to find space in the Nigerian defense.
Coyote looking for Garcia. We are live at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, along with Bill McDermott and Ty Keogh. I'm Bob Lee. 84th minute, Mexico 2. Nigeria won all the scoring here in the second half. Coming up next, the Senior PGA Nationwide Championship. As this match will run a few minutes long, we'll take you there immediately at the conclusion of Mexico and Nigeria. Emenger. Ramirez Perales took it right off of it. Garcia comes back. Now Delomo.
Garcia's been doing an excellent job of coming back to show for the ball, linking up with Ambriz, and even with the central defender Ramirez Perales. That's what you want in a team: big, tough, skillful defenders. And for Mexico, that has served them well today, and Ramirez Perales as well as Claudio Suarez.
Our attendance today, 27,000 plus at the Cotton Bowl. Outstanding turnout, 27,166 to be exact. Inegwe. Delomo watching defensively against Akbabari, and it will be a corner kick now for Nigeria in the 85th minute. Delomo Kicks it out for another corner.
This would be Nigeria's 5th corner kick of the game to 7 for Mexico. This has been a close game, although Mexico has asserted their superiority in certain ways.
Akbabare. Campos could not get there against Siasia. And a goal kick.
We talked about how Mexico was able to spread the Nigerian defense. Look at this ball by Zage after it had been played into the corner for him. He plays it all the way to the opposite side. In fact, he overplayed it. Coyote hustles to keep it in, and then he swings it all the way across to who else? It's Zage. So they've spread this Nigerian defense completely. Now there's a gap in it for Ambriz to take advantage of, and that he does with a blast into the upper corner.
That was the 77th minute, a replay of the go-ahead goal for Mexico. Garcia. Luis Garcia. And Serrano is there. Defensive play there by Okafor to shield Garcia off the ball.
So it pays to spread your attack. I mean, that was to an extreme because Zage didn't even mean to send that ball as far as he did, nor did Coyote perhaps, but they're looking to switch the point of attack. And it worked out for Ambriz to take advantage of an overshifted or spread out Nigerian backfield. It helps to have that powerful shot. Yes, as well.
Lethal weapon from 25 yards. Abdullahi throws it in for Nigeria. Bawa Abdullahi plays it back to his keeper. Ambriz and Garcia Aspe, the goals for Mexico. Akbabare scoring for Nigeria. All of that in this second half. Slide tackle, and finally Bernal came through to win it, and foul against Nigeria.
Mexico will do everything now in their power to slow down the pace in this game, to drop players back, to not allow the Nigerians to get a quick breakthrough. They are very good at it.
Substitution being ready for Nigeria. Taiwo Wasiu to come on, and Menger will take a seat. Wasiu had a goal, the second goal for Nigeria against the United States on a misplay in front of the U.S. goal, poked it in. Plays for the club 3SC in Nigeria. No, Nigeria looking for an equalizer in the 88th minute. Now Garcia's got some room and time as Zage makes a run down the middle along with Espinosa. Put out. Right back to Garcia. Ambriz looked to tee it up, thought about it, and played it wide.
Maybe keep possession and kill more of the clock.
Garcia looking for Espinosa again. Bernal can't win the ball. Nigeria. Well, now he does with a foot. Marcelino Bernal cuts it inside nicely. This is Garcia. Able to make something out of that ball and keep it in bounds.
Mexico again continuing to play the ball very wide. It's been effective for them.
The senior golf coming right after this match from the Cotton Bowl, running a little bit long, so stay tuned for that. U.S. Cup 95.
The goal scorer Ambriz, as well as Garcia Aspe, who went off earlier, are teammates at Necaxa with Dominic Kinnear, a player who has quite a few appearances with the U.S. national team. Of course, with Leon in the Mexican First Division, Marcelo Balboa plays. Bill McDermott just mentioned Mike Sorber. He had such a successful year with the Pumas. Unam, along with Campos.
Big U.S.-Mexico connection professionally.
Tab Ramos. Good stuff. They're playing at this type of level against and with these players. It's going to develop the U.S. team.
Inwanu comes through to win that ball. Back on it against Delomo. Nigeria hoping in these final minutes to salvage a point here in U.S. Cup. Samson Siasia, far post. Campos is out with a foot to it to put it out of the area.
What a recovery by Campos, because out on that left side for Nigeria, totally unmarked, was Wasiu.
Inegwe's ball headed on, and Campos takes the non-threatening ball. You saw the center forward in him flick that foot out.
Campos single-handedly diffused the situation. Wasiu with a good cut is about to beat Campos, and Campos just gets a toe to it on a slide tackle. That's not normally the way a goalkeeper has to play, but he was one-on-one. I can't believe there's not a Mexican defender back there marking Wasiu with so little time left.
Zage gets that foul backing into his defender, and so now Mexico with possession and the ball in the 90th minute. Serrano cuts it down.
Maybe Nigeria can put a shirt on Carlos Alberto and he can step on and score a goal like that great one that he scored in the 1970 World Cup final, assisted by Pelé.
Akbabari on the left side. Skitters into the area, and Campos comes out in his fluorescent glory to cover the ball up.
So alert and so quick as Campos. There's Mejia Barón. A little bit of pressure, at least for the time being, perhaps off of him. Many of the pundits and writers in Mexico have been calling for his head, especially after that 4-0 drubbing, that humiliation that the United States put on them earlier in this tournament.
Serrano well out of his area as we are into stoppage time now in a Mexico 2-1 lead over Nigeria. Arturo Angeles, our referee on the field, will blow this match to conclusion. Goals by Garcia, Asping, and Ambriz in the second half after Akbabari's goal just after halftime. Garcia slicing it ahead. And full time, that is it. A physical game, one of quick strikes and controversy, and for the Mexican fans who came to Dallas to see their national side, they leave satisfied. We will have a recap and a final word from Dallas in U.S. Cup 95. Mexico 2, Nigeria 1. Final score at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas as Mexico defeating Nigeria. All the scoring in the second half. Goals by Akbabari, Garcia, Asping, and Ambriz. The final 2-1. Don't forget, you can catch the U.S. Cup 95 finale tomorrow. ABC Sports live coverage of the USA and Colombia at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That match will decide the champion of U.S. Cup 95. Coming up next, the Senior PGA Nationwide Championship at the Country Club of the South in Alpharetta, Georgia. And a reminder that after the golf, we've got the Extreme Games, the preview program here on ESPN at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. For Ty Keogh and Bill McDermott, I'm Bob Lee. A victory for Mexico. Good.
Largest stage, American soccer faced its toughest challenge. And you got the feeling that good things were going to happen for the USA.
For us coming in, we're very much underdogs, and we didn't expect much from that game. But you go out and play, and we hustled them, and we actually played better than they did.
For the final whistle to blow on American soccer's proudest day.
Probably the biggest one we've ever had with the U.S. team. And now coming up, we've got to play them again. We know they're going to come out for more revenge than anything. It's more